Hey everyone, welcome to another daydream. Welcome to another Gearhead daydream. Thank you for following, thank you for subscribing. That's that. So in today's video, I just wanted to go over basically the Carwow stuff that I did with Carwow, and basically the process from start to end and what it involves. So going straight into it, the story behind it was basically I have a friend who owns Yum Cars, which is a company that produces some really high quality detailing products. So that's pretty much all I use. So any product he has, I use because it's a good quality product, whatever he does, and the alternatives that he doesn't have, I go to other companies. But anyway, so he got in touch with me and he said that he was going to go do a Carwow race in his GLC 63 at the time, and that race was against a BMW X3 competition, the alpha variant of the small SUV, a Jaguar F-Pace SVR. Yeah, so that was the four race, and Carwow sort of asked him, is there anyone else that you know? And he was like, yeah, I've got a friend who's got a 725 horsepower Mustang. So that's how that discussion started. And they got in touch with two other guys who actually own a company together, they're partners, and they were the ones who owned the Camaro and the Challenger. So the Challenger was a Scat Pack Pro Charged. It had the interior stripped out, so no carpets, no rear seats. The front seats weren't factory, they were carbon fiber lightweight seats. All the mats, etc., had all been removed. The door panels were carbon fiber, so it had gone on a serious weight reduction regime, and it was okay. So this is where there's something contentious as well. The car is 750 horsepower. Why? Because look at this advert here. This is from their own website, and it lists the car as 750 horsepower. Why they told Carwow that it was only 650 horsepower? Well, if you've seen the video, it's obvious. That car didn't win a thing. Didn't win the roll race, didn't win the quarter mile, the 0 for 3, lost the brake test as well. Pretty embarrassing considering that's what you do as a living. Anyway, with regards to then the Camaro, now there's no way that Camaro is running 650 horsepower, right, on a 6.2 liter V8 or 6.4, whatever it is, Pro Charged. Me and someone I know actually who lives 10 minutes down from his road, and he's actually claimed that the guy who owns the car has actually claimed that it's around 800 to 850 horsepower, which makes more sense because both the Camaro and the Challengers were decatted. And initially when the race was set up by Carwow, the cars were listed to have around 750 horsepower. So there's that. But based on the fact that they lied about the Challenger, I am 100% sure they lied about the power on the Camaro, because they thought they'd show up, beat me or whatever, and then just take away all the kudos, etc., so to speak. But they got a more challenging day than they were expecting. Both the Challenger and Camaro weren't running cats. If you want to know more about my car and what it does, there's another video, so go watch that. But my car obviously ran the cats, fully emissions compliant, etc., etc., which has a huge effect on how much power you can put down, etc., etc. So anyway, that's all of that sort of out of the way. And then so they got in touch. The Camaro and the Challenger drivers didn't want Carwow drivers to drive their cars, which meant that if I went the same route, the race wouldn't happen. So I agreed to Matt Watson driving my car. I've got no issues with that. The amount of time and money and the quality parts that I've used on it sort of gave me the confidence that it should take the beating on the day. So I was nervous, not gonna lie, but yeah, so I was quietly confident that it could take it. But it's like, I don't have kids, but I guess it's what it feels like when you take the training wheels off your kid's bike and you push him down the road for the first time, you're still nervous he's gonna fall and loses all his dang teeth, but you know, but you're confident that he'll be fine or she'll be fine. But yeah, so that was that. And then, so anyway, the invite happened, and we agreed to that. Then you get like these massive contracts that you have to sign. So I'm gonna put some screenshots in there, and one of the clauses basically says that you have to provide insurance for your car, even though, so I'm a bit confused about that. Yeah, read the clause, take it for what you will, but I found that quite ominous, quite worrying, quite weird. But I was told that, you know, any issues and the Carwow insurance will sort of cover it. I took that with a pinch of salt, that's in all honesty, and I decided to go anyway, because mostly I had never pushed the car that fast, or you know, to the extremes that they were going to do it. So it was more of a proving ground for me as well. I just wanted to see what the car was capable of in someone's hand who was just gonna just do it, you know. I could be a bit biased and I could sort of, you know, go easy on it, but I just wanted someone to go for it, and it held up well. So the contracts were done out the way, the date was set. We were at an undisclosed location. I still can't say it because they don't want people randomly showing up. So it was a runway, a disused runway, concrete, start line, etc. So not great for traction on drag radials, but yeah, that is what it is. So in the risk assessments that they did, because of COVID, everyone was supposed to wear a mask. I didn't wear a mask because we were outdoors or whatever. But yeah, it was okay. But unfortunately, one of the things that disappointed me was when I read through the risk assessment. Maybe I'm the only one who does that. Maybe I'm the only one who read through the risk assessment, where it listed Matt Watson as the first aider, but like he was the one driving the car. So if something happened to him, who would be the one that administers first aid to him? So that was a concern, and a couple of other concerns were there was no ambulance at the area that we were, and getting there was quite tricky and quite long. So God forbid if anything bad happened, it would take a long time for assisted medical aid to actually arrive, real medical aid. We're talking, you know, 15 minutes to half an hour at least. So that left me feeling a little bit uncomfortable. I wasn't in the car, so it's not really my risk. But the other thing was there was no fire brigade. So again, God forbid if a crash happens and someone's stuck in the car, you're not gonna get him out. You know, that person is either gonna, and if the car catches fire, that person's gonna die. And if it's your car, it's gonna get ruined and you'll be taking on basically charred metal and ash. So just bear that in mind. So that might change now. They might be doing things differently. But on the day I went, there were no welfare facilities. So if you needed to use the toilet, you're in a field. If you really needed to use the toilet because you've had some strong food last night or tacos, you're done. Like it's not gonna be good. So bear that in mind. So that's sort of behind the scenes. I felt that was let down by the lack of those things. But anyway, we show up, and so they do quite a few runs on the day. And on that particular day, Yanni was there as well. Met him, really nice guy, cool. Matt Watson again, down to earth, really nice guy. But you just got to remember that these guys are working, right? So you can't take too much time out of the day. So I wasn't, you know, going around taking photos. Show you guys something a bit more interesting than my face. So I wasn't going around taking photos. But you know, you still get to chat to them and you get to sort of understand the sort of people they are, and they seem like decent folks, to be honest, down to earth. And then the first race was my friend's AMG GLC 63. He won on all accounts, which was brilliant for him. Then the second race, and the Alpha that they raced nearly caught fire because of the coolant leak, blah blah blah. had to get towed. That's a different story. And then then the second race was mine, Camaro, and a Challenger. And yeah, so the first pass mine won, which was nice to see. And then the funny thing I remember is that they got the hoods up on the Camaro straight away. So I don't know what they were doing, but the hoods were up. They were like, oh crap, it's a race. Second race I lost, third race I lost. So here are some behind the scene footage of the first pass, the second pass, and the third pass. I'll also show you my introduction as well on the day, so you get the feel of that. Hey everyone, welcome to Gearhead Daydreams. Welcome to another daydream. Doing something pretty cool today. I haven't got a chance in hell of doing well. I'm going against some stiff competition. I'm with Carwow. They wanted to do a drag race against a Chevy Camaro and I think it's a Hellcat Red Eye, which is both modified. And here I am, gazebo built Ford Mustang. So yeah, I'm pretty much the underdog in that race because those guys have showed up and they've got like a trailer, that's the Chevy truck. They've got like a support. You guys want to see what I've got? You guys are like this. Oh yeah, check it out. This is how I roll. But we got the drinks and everything covered. Not some uncultured fools over here. So yeah, this will be interesting. See how it goes. Yeah, you guys have probably seen the video if it's already up. I can't post this until they've posted their words, NDA and all that stuff. But yeah, so Yanni Maz is here. Yanni, I think. So this is Urus, and then Matt Watson's here in a BMW M3. So that's it really. Give you an update, see how it goes. I don't know if I should put the drag radials on. Find out soon enough. See you in a bit. So this is the competition. You've got my Mustang over there with the fatties, the drag radials. Now we've got the Camaro and the Challenger. The Challenger's got a roll cage and it's stripped out on the inside with carbon fiber seats, carbon fiber door trim. The Camaro looks pretty stock. I think it's 650, probably a ZL1. So we'll see how it goes. My Mustang is just running the Kenny Bell factory tune, carb approved. It's got the Mickey Thompsons on the back running 16 PSI. I just hope the wheels don't spin on the rim. That will be interesting. But here we are. Let's do it. Drag radials. Right, so those were the passes. So you can see the first pass I won, the wheels were spinning, which I don't know much about that. But yeah, foot brake, brake boosting gone. Okay, I won that one. That was great. Second one I didn't win. I thought I had. Was it the second one? I thought I'd won it, but because the starts the car was getting on the day for me, I was like, if that car is running 650 at the time, obviously I wasn't at the finish line, then there's no way it's reeling me in. But evidently it did, and that's why, with the 8-speed as well, because the Camaro has an 8-speed, it just doesn't add up. But the Challenger lost everything, so that was a nice thing, I guess you could say. And then out of nowhere, so I think I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, Jürgen from JM Imports in the UK, I think he's based in Newcastle, came and he had his R34 with him.
The Alpha.
Beautiful inside as well. Look at that. No chance.
And Carwow decided to go away from the agenda and decided to do a race between my heat-soaked Mustang, an M3 competition, not the 4-wheel drive, just the rear-wheel drive, and then and the R34, and those races went the way they did.
Everyone, so we're done shooting at Carwow. I think the plans changed, so we ended up doing a lot more racing. Initially it was going to be between the Camaro and the Challenger, but then they started to change things up and they started to put it up against the M3 and a 750 horsepower GT-R R34. So that was interesting. Obviously I stood no chance against the GT-R with its launch control and all-wheel drive, but the car ended up doing like over 20 passes, which is a lot. Like, I'm very happy with the way it survived. I think it's done pretty well. The build itself is quite stout. One of the things we noticed was that the actual rims slit. So if you remember, I put these marks on. So I need some bead locks. So I wonder how much time that hurt. I don't know. But I think one of the biggest issues I had was heat soak. Doing 20 plus passes is asking a lot of any car at any strip. So yeah, it is what it is. The car is cooling down right now. I've just got it running with the hood up. Brakes have taken a good battering as well. Look at that. Nice. But that's what this car is made for. You know, this car is built to race, and today, to be honest, has been a little bit of a proving ground, and it certainly has proved itself, and I'm very happy with it.
I think one of the biggest issues that my car faced for those races was the heat soak. Obviously it'd been doing pass after pass after pass before that, and the M3 and the R34 were fresh, they were cool, so they can really take advantage of the engine timing and the cooler air and the lack of heat soak, etc. coming in. But I'm still actually very happy with the way the Mustang performed, considering all of those variables and the fact that it's on a minimum tune. So if you want to know more about the car, you can watch my other video about the car. And then yeah, the racing was done. We weren't allowed to disclose the winners or anything like that. I had a dash cam in the car, so I got to see a lot of the stuff behind the scene and what goes on in the car. And I'll tell you, like, it's a lot of work those guys put in, and it's not as flowing in the filming as you might think it is. So a fair few takes on some of the lines, etc. So that happens, and that's it. The car was done, got in it, a few fist bumps, thank you very much guys, and drove back home on the same car. And then a week or so later, 2 weeks or so later, I went drag racing at Center Pod on a prep surface, and my tensioner broke. So what can you do? So this is it. Tensioner broke. I'll do another video on that. And that led me to think that I was actually getting some belt slip on the supercharger, so it probably wasn't performing at peak efficiency because it wasn't spinning as fast as it should have been, which would make sense because the tensioner was on its way out. And that's this. And then a week later, someone else posted on the groups that their tensioner. Anyway, you'll see that in that video. So that was the day. In terms of a review, would I do it again? I wouldn't do it again, simply because of the safety concerns. It's a huge risk. If your car catches fire or something happens, I don't want that on my conscience. I don't want something like that to haunt me for the rest of my life. So based on that, I would not. If they had a fire engine, if they had an ambulance with trained paramedics, I would be more than happy to do it. But the last thing I want is to hear someone screaming for their lives in a car that's burning out, and you can't do nothing. There were like 2 or 3 fire extinguishers on site, and that's it. So based on that, there's no way. So that's a room for improvement for Carwow. But apart from that, everyone was great. It was a good day out. Don't take the kids, just 2 people, and yeah, that was it. If you have any more questions about the day and about anything else, I am more than happy to answer it. I've seen some negative comments saying that, you know, the car isn't running 725 horsepower, the car is running 600 horsepower at the engine, which just is not true. I mean, the car comes with 420, 425 from factory, and when you put 10 psi of boost on the Coyote, the numbers just don't add up. And these numbers aren't mine; they're from Kenny Bell on their tune, on their Mustangs that they do. So I actually believe them. And the fact that it beat the 750 horsepower Challenger day in, day out, like, just sort of proves that. And then it managed to keep up with the M3, and we all know that BMW tend to sandbag their numbers, sort of proved that as well. So I'm happy with all of that. Yeah, and then I saw one comment where a guy was like, "That's not a 5.0, that's the EcoBoost." Yeah, okay, mate. And then when I saw that, I just sort of stopped reading. But the most disappointing thing for me out of all of that was the other guys, the Camaro and the Challenger guys, and the spirit in which they raced. They basically lied about their power figures. And like, come on, if you're gonna lie, at least delete it from your website. But they weren't smart enough to do that, and I managed to get the screenshots for that. So it calls into question their credibility. Yeah, that's about it really. Any more questions you might have, happy to answer. Yeah, have a good day.